What's good, YouTube? It's Justice I Used to Be Paying. Today I'm back with another video, and in this video I'm going to be telling you why 2025 is the year of exposing the fake fans. But before I get into that, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Do all those things. It helps me out a ton. Now, the year 2024 is one of the hottest years in rap history. Like, when we look back on the genre in another 10, 15, 20 years, people are going to look back on 2024 and talk about how huge it was for the genre. And this was obviously due to the Drake and Kendrick beef. And with that beef, you could not avoid rap. It completely took over all of pop culture pretty much for the entire year. Everyone was super invested. Everyone was talking about the diss songs and people were picking sides. You had like Taylor Swift fans doing lyrical breakdowns of these diss songs. It was just everywhere. Like, everyone was super invested. Everyone's views were up. It was just a very exciting time to be in the rap space. Once we got past Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime performance, though, things started to slow down. Rap went from moving at, a million miles per hour every single day to business as usual, if not maybe even a little slower than what we were used to before the beef started. And that led to a large contingency of fans saying that rap is dead or rap is boring. Rap's just not the same anymore. Once we got past that period of Drake and Kendrick going back and forth, and it was pretty clear who the winner was, people were saying things like the genre just isn't interesting anymore. And obviously, if you're watching this video, you probably weren't one of those people because you're probably fairly invested in rap, at least more than the average person if you're watching YouTubes about the genre. However, for the people that were saying those things about rap being dead and rap being boring, I think that statement actually says a lot more about the person making it than the genre itself. One thing all human beings love is drama. Whether people want to admit it or not, people love conflict and they love to watch it. So obviously, when conflict broke out between two of the biggest rappers of all time, and we were getting music from that conflict, people were much more invested than they would be when regular music is just kind of entering the cycle, especially casual fans. Casual fans at that time really dominated the rap space. And when I say casual fans, I'm referring to the people that only listen to like the tippity top of mainstream rap music. Like, only listen to Drake, Future, Lil Baby, 21 Savage, like the rap caviar demons. They really dominated the conversations, particularly when it came to the Drake versus Kendrick beef. People like Aiden Ross and XQC were talking about rap every day like they were on the Joe Budden podcast. And not just talking about, their favorite songs at the time, but having real rap debates in 2024 up until like early 2025. And as crazy as it might sound for me to say, Aiden Ross is a lot closer to the average rap fan than I am. And honestly, he's a lot more powerful with his words in the hip hop space than like 95% of like rap commentators. So when he said that rap was dead,
pretty much dead.
Rap's dead, bro. I'm sorry. It just is.
Let's not go there.
We don't gotta go there, but it's dead.
Let's not go there. You know what? Honestly, it'll never die.
Keep it on the full cam. Not die as far as like full on die.
Never die. What do you mean? Rap
music's just dry right now, bro. Like,
a lot of fans probably felt him in that sentiment. And when he was asked about what he thought the album of the year was in 2025, it was like maybe a few weeks ago, maybe even 2 months ago at the latest, the man said the Carter 6.
Some sexy songs.
Bro, are we talking about rap albums? Are we talking about rap albums?
Overall music.
Okay, see, like, listen, if you want to have a Drake Glaze-a-thon, we could do it. Cool. Drake dropped a great album with Party. Salute to both of them. But we're talking about rap album. What's your best rap album?
Shit, okay, let me see what dropped this year. 2025.
You're trying not to say Cardi, huh?
No, I'm low key the Carter 6.
Bro, you were not listening to that, bro. Like, damn.
He really wanted to say some sexy songs for you, the Drake and Party Next Door album, but that album is not a rap album. So he said the Carter 6, which is damn near objectively one of the worst albums of the year. Like, respectfully, Wayne, we love you, but pretty much by all measurements, people were saying this album is not good in any way, shape, or form. There is no super trendy album to like right now in rap. There's no album that has a whole bunch of momentum amongst casual fans. So Aiden Ross and fans like him are kind of like wolves with no pack. They don't really know what to do. If you feel like rap is dead this year, then yeah, I'm sorry. You're just not that big of a fan of rap music, or at least not as big of a fan as you think you are. Just this year alone, we have music by Playboi Carti, Let God Sort 'Em Out by Clips, Starline by Chance the Rapper, Alfredo 2 by Freddie Gibbs, God God Does Like Ugly by Jid, The Last One by Gunna, Kiara by Offset, and that's just a few of the albums that have came out this year. So much good music has came out in the last few months, let alone the entire year. I understand if you don't like Freddie Gibbs' style and it's not for you and you're not super into the lyricists, but I just listed albums from Playboi Carti all the way to Clips that are widely considered to be good. If you can't find something you like there, you're probably just not that big of a rap fan. You might like rap music, but you enjoy the drama and being a fan of something popular as well. You might like things that are good, yes, but widely liked and trendy that you can get behind, like a Not Like Us or Family Matters because it's drama filled and has the entire world talking about it, but you aren't invested enough to listen to things that aren't the main topic of discussion. These type of fans want to talk about if Young Thug was right for exiling Gunna for snitching, and then they want to transition that conversation into a conversation about music and whose music has been better since the whole incident took place. These are the fans that, really miss the days of NBA Youngboy versus Lil Durk and how crazy that was and who did what to who and the Slide for Von memes, but again, still keeping it somewhat related to the music, still talking about the music that ended up coming from all those dramatic situations. These fans are actually very similar to pro wrestling fans. I know I talk about pro wrestling a lot. It's one of my loves, but I love to compare it to rap because they are very, very similar. And in pro wrestling, fans really want to care about the dramatic story leading up to a match. Most wrestling fans, I say most, not all, but most wrestling fans want to care about the story between the two wrestlers who are going at it long before they ever get to the match. And some fans won't even watch a match, no matter how great it is, if there isn't a story attached to it. If there's no story, then they're not super invested. Now, there are some wrestling fans who will watch a match if it's great, regardless of if the story's not super exciting and if there's not crazy storytelling. They'll watch it either way because, hey, that match is great. But that's not a majority of wrestling fans. And it's the exact same thing in rap. Those people who will just listen to the music and won't have to be attracted to the trends and all the waves and all the dramatic stories that are happening, if there are or aren't any, those are the diehards. I think this narrative of rap being boring this year is happening because of how synonymous pop culture is with rap. Rap has been the #1 music genre for a while now in America, with the music being everywhere and pretty much everyone who's somewhat caught up in American pop culture having at least a bit of knowledge of what's going on in rap. Rap has controlled the sound of music even, with trap beats making their way into R&B, but not just R&B, even a genre like country music, which oftentimes feels very, very far away from rap. Rap controls the fashion, the lingo, the trends, and because of this, so many of the fans who aren't really fans of the art itself are just kind of following whatever is popular and has influence. If Aiden Ross didn't grow up in the 2010s where Drake and Kanye were two of the most impactful male musicians in the world, and he was growing up now where somebody like, Morgan Wallen is unfortunately one of the guys who's just dominating the music industry, I'm not saying that Aiden wouldn't like rap music, but it wouldn't be on the front of his mind like it is now, or like it was when he had his initial come up getting all of these rapper guests. Rap has been king in pop culture, and last year was the peak of that. Pop culture is all about stories and drama, and not to say that there hasn't been any drama or any crazy stories in rap this year, it just hasn't been what it was. People are still talking about Drake and Kendrick. That's still the biggest story of this year, more so the stuff with the lawsuit, but even that is kind of boring if you're not truly fully invested. This year for rap and hip hop really does feel like it's been focused on the music. And that's good for the diehard fans because there's been a lot of great music coming out this year. But for the fans who are kind of looking for some of those hype moments and some of those drama related things, there hasn't been that much to hold on to. Then if we're getting into the conversation of who the casuals listen to the most, there hasn't been a lot of great stuff coming from them either. There's nothing wrong with just listening to the top of the top guys. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. However, if we're looking at this year from the guise of only looking at the top guys, it's been a little rough, all right? Drake hasn't dropped his rap album yet. Lil Baby's album came out and it pretty much came and went. It wasn't very good, and he's about to drop again, so maybe he'll redeem himself. But, 21 Savage hasn't dropped yet. Travis Scott on Jack Boys 2, that album just kind of, came and went. It wasn't all that. And Kanye has completely lost it. There also hasn't been a banger hit song in a minute, pretty much since I want to say Nokia was the last rap song, which again, that might not even be a rap song, but the last rap song to really be at the top of the charts consistently for a while. Of course, there's Kendrick stuff, but the stuff that was sticking at the top was like Luther, and that, you know, that's not really a rap song. So I don't know. Regardless, there hasn't been a lot of hit songs, even if we want to take out, you know, looking at Drake or Kendrick, who had the best, whatever, right? There hasn't been a lot of hit songs to really hold on to. So for the people who, again, want to listen to the big music, the trending music, the music doing all the numbers, it has been kind of slow. Like the people who just, you know, refresh Drake and Future's Spotify playlist waiting for them to drop a new album, the people who are just refreshing their Spotify page looking for the next big thing in rap, they might be a bit detached from rap this year. Just for me personally, between the albums Music by Playboi Carti, Let God Sort 'Em Out by Clips, God Does Like Ugly by Jid, and Starline by Chance the Rapper, you cannot tell me that this year has been bad for music. I'm sorry, I'm not listening to, because you're just wrong. Those 4 albums, just off those alone, I didn't, you know, name any other albums that I like Gunna's album or, you know, Freddie Gibbs's album or any of the other, just off those alone, this year has been great. And for all the people who are really listening to rap music, like really listening, I promise you they're not going to tell you this has been a bad year. They're just not. Maybe they might have the opinion of, it could have been better, or maybe, but they're not going to tell you this has been a bad year. I think, if anything, this has really been a good year for rap and for rap as a genre, because it's been a bounce back of focusing more on the music. And yeah, maybe it's not always topping the charts, but it's been great music. Great stuff to listen to if you really enjoy the genre. Like, I'm sorry, but if you're going to tell me that you don't like Let God Sort 'Em Out at all, you can't find any good music on Let God Sort 'Em Out, that album is trash, I'm going to tell you, you're probably just not that big of a fan of rap. That album is like rap personified, bruh. Again, I'm not going to try and like make everyone like this thing. If you don't like this thing, then you're not a real fan. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying there is so much great music out here that if you're, you know, a casual fan who feel like the genre has been boring, you might need to just look a little deeper than what you're doing right now. You might need to just dive in a little bit deeper, because there's a lot of great music coming out right now. Just because the same 7 to 8 guys who have been popular for the last decade aren't having, you know, a crazy year, none of those guys are going crazy right now, doesn't mean that the decade as a whole is falling off or is not in the right space. Rap can never die. It can never die. It can have moments of, you know, a little bit less popularity. It can have moments of, you know, dullness and stillness, but it can never die. And rap is too big of a genre to ever say that the music coming out from that entire genre for a whole year is trash. There are so many people dropping music that I didn't even mention in this video that put out great music. So anybody that's running with that narrative of rap is dead, rap is boring this year, the music, they're probably just not that big of a fan of the music, the art form. Not talking about the genre, not talking about, you know, or not talking about the hip hop space outside of it, you know, the Trap Lord Ross stuff, the news, academic, like, not talking about that stuff. I'm talking about the music. You might not be that big of a fan of the music, brother, because this year for music, personally, to me, has been amazing. And for anybody that's really listening, they would probably tend to agree with me. But if you made it this far, I greatly, greatly appreciate you. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Do all those things. It helps me out a ton. I go by the name of Pay. Peace.